It's been obviously a busy month for City Kickboxing. Is there more or less anxiety being one of the last ones to go out there and fight after seeing a bunch of your friends already go first?
There's none. It's just exactly the same as it was before. Like we all really enjoy competing and fighting. The fact that we get to all fight pretty close together and then relax after the fight together, I think that's pretty cool. We're lucky like that.
Uh, Last year, Adesanya and yourself did quite a lot of traveling. Obviously, a ton of quarantine that comes along with that. What are your cheat codes by now for all that time stuck in the hotel? What are those things that really get you through it when you've just been there a really long time already?
PlayStation, a lot of Call of Duty, a lot of reading, and a lot of self-reflection, man. Like whether you win or whether you lose, there's a lot of time to think about how the fight went and stuff like that, or your trip and other stuff in life. So yeah, quarantine's not it's not great, but you can definitely make it beneficial if you try. You can make it really bad, or you can make it make it a little bit better.
What's your gamer tag and PlayStation or Xbox for people who want to, shoot people with you
For Call,
online?
yeah, but for Call of Duty, it's Quake 155. Yeah, I'm okay. I wouldn't rate myself too high, but I'm okay.
Well, hopefully we get some people who can help you out. Talking about the fight, did you take much from Gregor's fight with Kevin Lee, or do you feel just you're a completely different fighter, so you'll approach it differently?
Yeah, I mean, like obviously, he exposed him a little bit, but sure that hasn't affected Gregor too much. To be honest, Kevin caught him with two beautiful shots, just like Gregor said himself. Um, it was quite early on in the fight, so yeah, I'm a complete different fighter to Kevin. So yeah, the same result would be great, but we'll have to see how it goes.
My final question, just what do you want to show most for yourself in your performance on Saturday?
That I can hang with a really, really high level wrestler. That I can hang with an All American wrestler, and from there on up, there will be a lot of worry for the other top 15 contenders.
Thank you, Brad. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Damon Martin with MMAfighting.com. Your line is open.
Hey Brad, coming into this fight, so much is being made about the contrast in styles you're striking against his wrestling. But do you think maybe we're making too much of that, considering this is mixed martial arts, and because you do see some guys and some girls, get overly, they get overly, taken over by, oh, he's gonna try to wrestle me, or oh, they're gonna try to strike with
Yeah.
me, and it kind of takes them out of their game. Do you just have to kind of put all that out of your head?
Yeah, man, 100%. Like you can obviously, his wrestling is great, but you cannot just focus on that. You have to focus on your own thing. Otherwise, the fight's going to go his way. So, yeah, I do agree with you on that. People do get caught up on that. I'm not one of them. Like obviously, in my other fights, I've just fought my fight, and sometimes I've been taken down, and I got back up and carried on doing my thing. So yeah, I I'm just gonna do my thing out there.
You can't get in Gregor's head, but we've seen it a million times. When you go through a really tough knockout like that, it can change you. It can really change you in your approach to fighting,
Yeah,
mentally wise. First time, and this is going to be the first time he's going to get hit since then. Will you
exactly.
look for those kind of tendencies in that opening round if you tag him the first time and you kind of look in his eyes and see that? Because we have seen that a lot of times where some people are just never the same after a knockout like that.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm definitely gonna look for a bit of PTSD and see if it's still there. It could be, it couldn't be. Like I've said a few times this week that knockouts like that are beneficial or detrimental. Especially your first loss, it can bring you back better, or you can never come back at all. So I'll definitely be looking to see how he reacts to me when we jump in there and touch gloves and get going.
There's obviously no shame in losing to Kevin Lee, who is a incredible fighter in his own right. But going into that fight, so much attention was on Gregor as undefeated, kind of the next big thing. But do you feel like you do still get a pretty quality win here over a guy who still has a lot of hype behind him? Obviously, again, no shame in losing to Kevin Lee, but do you feel like this does move you forward in terms of where you want to be in this division?
Yeah. Of course it does. Of course it does. Gregor's still an amazing fighter. He's still, very decorated in what he's done. And you say there's like no shame in losing to Kevin Lee. I don't think there's any shame in losing in the UFC. We're a very small percentile of the population that get in there and fight. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of balls. So step in there and fight someone. You know, you're stripping yourself down naked in front of the world, and putting everything out there. So I don't think there's any shame in losing at all. I think you should be very proud that you step in there and go to war against somebody else. So yeah, for the people that give people shit when they lose, man. Yeah, I'm not gonna say what I think of them.
Yeah, understandable. With that being said, you have engaged in some battles, in the UFC. You've been in those wars. Do you feel like that is an advantage for you in this fight? Obviously before the Kevin Lee fight, Gregor had been pretty dominant. He'd been kind of, I won't say running through guys, that's an insult to his opponents, but he's been pretty dominant in his performances. Do you kind of look to test him to see, if he can go in those deep waters? If you don't, let's say knock him out early, do you want to see if he can go in those deep waters with you?
I'm sure he can go those deep waters with me. Judging by his other opponents, like he dragged them too deep for themselves. Like maybe they didn't prepare for him or they underestimated his wrestling. But I've never underestimated any opponent that I've fought. I've had so many fights now in my life that you just can't do that. I've done it a couple of times earlier in my career and lost some important fights, and from then on I've just never done it. And I think yeah, it's obviously beneficial for me that I've been the distance quite a few times with some really hard fighters that were gritty. So yeah, I think that works in my favor to fight someone like Gregor.
Last one for me. I remember talking to Dan Hooker before his fight earlier this year, and the kind of crazy quarantine he had to go through going home, just because the restrictions are a little tighter in New Zealand and Australia, and obviously what we're doing here in America. I'm curious, what do you have to go through when you finally get a chance to go home?
Yeah, Dan's was a bit savage. I really felt for him because of his family and stuff. And it's always a little bit harder to bear with the loss, but he bounced back really well. He was positive, and we talked to him during that time. And mine is not as bad as that. Mine's I think 5 weeks total. So I leave on the 3rd of April. Well, I leave America on the 1st of April, and I've got like a 40-odd hour flight home, a couple of transits. So mine's not too bad. I'm here for Volcom and stuff that extended it a little bit, but I would have done that anyway.
Thanks, Brad.
We'll go back.
We'll go next to Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador. Your line is open.
Hi, Brad. Can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
Okay, the first thing I want to ask you is, what are your thoughts of Gregor as an opponent?
Oh, he's a worthy opponent. It's a difficult fight. He's good. Yeah, everyone knows he wrestles, but he also doesn't mind to stand there and throw some punches. Like that's to my benefit, I think. But he's a gamer. It's gonna be awesome. I'm looking forward to fighting him. That's why I said I'll do it.
Okay, for sure. This is your fourth fight in the UFC, and every time you get on the octagon, you get better opponents. So if you get the victory over Gregor, do you have someone in your mind to call?
Not quite yet. Not quite yet. I'm gonna deal with Gregor this weekend. I'm gonna focus on that fight, get tunnel vision on that, and then I do have plans after, but they're far, far, far in the back of my mind, and I'll bring them to fruition after that fight.
For sure. City kickboxing is known for the elite takedown defense they have, and do you think that will be an important key to get the victory?
Of course, of course. Like every time Gregor gets me down, that's time to his advantage. So I definitely don't want to get taken down. Could happen. It couldn't happen. Fight's a fight, and things tend to change in there at the last split second. So yeah, I'm pretty confident in my takedown defense, and I'm more confident in my ability to get up, and I'm most confident in my ability not to give up. So yeah.
Okay, and the last question for me is, what's your prediction for the fight?
Well, I'm gonna win. That's always my prediction for the fight. I'm gonna win. How I win, I'll have to wait until the end of it. But yeah, I'm gonna win.
Okay, thank you very much, Brad, for your time, and good luck on the fight.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Ryan McCarthy with Low Kick MMA. Your line is open.
Hey Brad, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Just a couple questions here. You're 3-0 in the UFC, 6 straight wins overall. What would be next for you if you when you get a dub over ranked opponent Gregor Gillespie here? Are you trying to go into the top 10 for an opponent? Is there a certain name that you're looking out for here in the lightweight division?
There's not a certain name yet. You've always got to wait for other fights to play out to see what the best pick is for me. But I fully believe I deserve someone close to the top 10 after you get going through Gregor. top 10 or close to.
Yeah, for sure. And since you're in the lightweight division, do you have a prediction of what the next lightweight title fight will be? There's obviously a lot of names out there that are vying for that shot. So
Well, personally, I think Dustin and Charles Oliveira fighting for that belt. Those guys have earned their spot.
sure. And is there a certain cheat meal you get after a W over Gregor on Saturday?
Yeah, man. I like smoking meat. I like eating barbecue and stuff like that. I'm a big meat eater, so that's what I'll be hunting for over here. America's got pretty good barbecue. Let's see what Vegas has.
Nice, man. Well, we look forward to seeing you. Best of luck on Saturday.
We'll go next to Nikita with Sport Express. Your line is open.
Brad, big pleasure to talk to you.
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Brad, Israel Adesanya once said that you are one of the toughest and bravest person he's ever met in his life. Do you remember your first meet with Israel and your first impression of him?
My first meet, my first impression of Israel.
Yes.
Jeez, I think the first time I met Izzy would have been coming on like 8 or 9 years ago. 8 years. He used to. We were at different gyms, and a couple of times a week, or sometimes Eugene would bring him and a couple of other guys up to spar at our gym, in a different part of the city because our gym was quite known for like quite hard sparring, and we probably sparred a little bit too hard back then. And Izzy would come up and spar us, and it was the same thing back then. Like he was hard to hit, at distance, and then so I used to get in close and get him in the pocket. That's where I'd have the most success, and then I spent so much time doing that. He got good at doing that, and then obviously from there on, he got good at doing everything. That was my first times meeting him, and same thing then as now, man. It was hard to fight him, and he's always been a good dude. He's got heaps of energy. He's real fun. Yeah, I've always had good things for Israel.
Brad, now we see more and more knockouts against wrestlers in MMA with flying knees, with knees, and you're a Muay Thai kickboxing guy. How much do you love knee, and how you make stake on this type of strike against such short wrestler like Gregor?
Oh, it's a huge benefit. I mean, like if no one's throwing their legs up or their knees up or something like that, it's very inviting to just go and shoot. But when someone sticks their knee up, it changes your mind pretty quick because if your head meets the knee, everyone knows which one's gonna win. So it's a huge part of fighting a high-level wrestler.
Brad, thank you very much. Good luck.
Pleasure. Thank you.
We will take our final questions from Omer Mert with S Sport. Your line is open.
Hello, Brett. How are you?
Good. Thank you. How are you?
Thank you, sir. Brett, there are a lot of important names coming out New Zealand. What did your country do right and suddenly such MMA starts to appear? Can I get some advice for my country?
I think I don't know. It's just I guess it's we're just very stubborn. Like we're a very small country and we weren't very noticed. Before this, we had so many amazing fighters in our past that probably found it difficult, and unfortunately, they didn't get to get onto the world stage just because of our location in the world. It was hard to get out, and it's not anything that we're doing lately. It's just the stuff that we've always done, and we're very lucky that Dan Hooker and Israel have like elevated our platform in the UFC, and now we have a lot of exposure. So, and Mark Hunt, as well, like those guys got us noticed, and now it's easier for us to get into the UFC. So it's not what we're doing now, it's what we've always been doing, and we're just we owe those guys a lot.
Okay, thank you. My other question, do you have a dream match in the UFC?
Sorry, what?
Do you have a dream match in the UFC? Any legend or current name?
Dream match. Oh, I think I would really like to experience like fighting Khabib. Obviously he's finished, but just watching that guy over his whole career, like he was such a dominant force, and didn't matter who he got in the cage with, you just saw him crush them and just fold them. And I think it would be a crazy experience to fight him and feel that strength and feel that that power, and then you can go away and really think about what you have to work on, and appreciate how long he's been working on that skill set. So that would be cool. That would be just more for experience.
Okay, my last question, Brad. What do you think Adesanya's last performance? Did you ever chance to talk after the fight?
I haven't talked to him about the fight. We've just talked. I think I told him that he's doing quarantine in my home city, so I told him somebody wants to drop him off some barbecue, and my mom dropped him off heaps of muffins. So I think that's about as much as I've said to him. But I thought his performance was great. I think he's daring to do something that a lot of people haven't done and will probably never do, like going up to fight a man that big. Israel's a very tall middleweight, but he's not an enormous one. Like, he's not hugely heavy and stuff. So for him to go and fight a man that big and risk his record and dare to be great, it's awesome. Win or lose, I'm like insanely proud of that guy and what he did, and he's gonna come back and do just as many phenomenal things as he's done in the past. And yeah, don't sleep on Israel. There's some big things coming for that guy still.